All right. I think we should get going. I know we've got quite a lot to cover today. And I know we want to kind of squeeze a lot in an hour. So, again, if there's any questions or things anybody on this session who's joined who wants to explore, take some things offline, by all means, we'll also be sharing the recording with yourselves as well. But then of course, reach out to us and we will take that offline and discuss those questions or things you maybe want to explore in a bit more detail. We can do that more on a one-on-one. So on our panel, we've got Julien from Proofpoint. I'll let him do his intro quickly. Just pop him say hi.
Hello everyone, Julien Courtois. So I am the EMEA Cloud and MSP sales manager for Proofpoint Essential, the MSP solution that we have.
Perfect. Yeah, he's the main guy. So you want any kind of special kind of incentives or anything that you need to be running with your end customers, he's the guy that we want to be reaching out to. And then we've got Paul Martin from the technical side. Paul.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. So Paul Martin, pre-sales lead for all things essentials here in EMEA.
Fantastic, perfect. Right. From my side, I'm going to do a quick little, just a quick overview of. You all should know who Grow is, but I'm just going to give a quick 5 minutes, if that, just on who we are as a company, our relationship with Proofpoint, and then from there, I'm going to hand over to Julien and Paul, who's really going to get into the detail about today's webinar. So let me just share my screen and do shout. Let me know if you can't see this. Yeah. When you see my screen, fantastic. So yeah, making it happen, right? So this is a quick. I'm just get onto this. There we go. So quick little snapshot of Grove, who we are. What we've been doing over the last 18 years. I'm actually introduced myself as employee number 3, so I'm close to that 18-year mark, and seen the company go through all the various stages of life from the time that we've been inception from. And again, I'll go through the kind of next screen is quite a nice little storyline as to the different kind of solutions we've taken on over the years. But this really illustrates the actual overview of us as a business. 2,500 customers. We've got quite a lot of experience in what we do across different regions. So we know all different industries, we know all different kind of markets, and we've been there. And also as we've evolved over the years. A few of our customers at the bottom, I'm sure a lot of you would know who they are. And the snapshot in time is to, again, from the time we've been started as an inception as a business, 2005, a Bostini partner, moving to Random Storm, Mimecast reseller, Proofpoint distributor, which is obviously prevalent in today's call, and been there for close to, it's now celebrating our 10-year anniversary. Darktrace partners, so that's obviously evolved as we've moved into more into some network monitoring and protection to our end customers, moving to Atata, Kenna, BlackBerry, Netography, ESET, DSOC, and DSOC and Grove is where it really is very a tipping point for us as a business. That's really where we've come in to offer more of a managed service offering to our customers, and something we can always also be extending out and venturing out more into our channel and distribution business as well. And recently our partnership with CrowdStrike. So this is our kind of our next gen cyber solutions and our focus within our business. Darktrace, Proofpoint, CrowdStrike, and BlackBerry. I'm sure all of you know who these vendors are in the market, and potentially some of you using the other solutions within your own business, or even offering them to some of your end customers. And then really a snapshot of Grove as our Proofpoint Essentials. And as I mentioned, we're 13 years strong as a partner, servicing over 109 partners across multiple regions. We have a follow the sun support with dedicated success managers. And again, we've seen some strong growth in the last 12 months where we see partners that are starting to invest and take the time in knowing that the market is shifting. Protection is becoming something that is more prevalent in different areas of companies' businesses. We know that there's compliancy that needs to be met in some cases where where insurance where companies need to be compliant because of insurance policies of packages they need to take on. They need to obviously have certain things in place to ensure that they are actually properly cyber insured. And we've seen that across our partners are investing in that, so thank you very much. And then just on a final note, and something that we'll be seeing and we'll be doing over the next coming weeks, is that we have extended out our resources by bringing on 3 more partner managers. As I mentioned, they'll be reaching out to you individually over the next coming weeks and helping you to make sure that you are being looked after more, in the sense that you understand the product offerings, which we'll be covering more obviously in today's session, and how much more we can actually enable you to ensure that you have more tools at your disposal to either educate your existing customers or potential new customers that you want to be bringing on board. But that's it for me. Julien, I'm going to stop sharing on my side and hand over to you.
Great. Thanks very much for this introduction, and very happy about the partnership that we have together, and the significant growth and the value that you can bring to your customer and our common end customers. So you might be able to see my screen right now, are you? Yes, great. So here we go. So Paul and I already presented ourselves, so I will skip this one, and a very straightforward agenda that we will go through. So the first one is a very quick overview of Proofpoint, who we are, what we are doing, since when. And after that, we'll go through the main topic of this session. It's about email security with the new features that Paul will be showing you. And after that, we'll have a time for a demonstration of PISA. For those who may know, PISA is Proofpoint Essential Security Awareness, and we'll see what's how powerful is this solution in adding more value to your business. And we'll finish with some resources to share with you. So on the Proofpoint overview, so a lot of details here. I will not comment each and every topic on this slide, but I think that there are mainly 3 things I wanted to focus on. The first one is that we've been in this industry for more than 20 years. So we started as an email security vendor, and then we added more and more solutions to have today a security platform, adding information protection, compliance, identity protection, etc., etc. And we are a pure player in terms of security. The second thing that I wanted to mention is we've been very successful. You see a lot of Fortune 100, Fortune 1000, top internet service provider we are dealing with. Thanks to this, we have a lot of visibility. This visibility helps us innovating and proposing the best solution. And this solution has been recognized by many independent analysts like Gartner, like Frost Radar, for many, many years as a top leader. So I'm very happy to be in this position, and we'll explain you why we are here. And the last thing I wanted to mention, because it's important for you to understand, okay, I want to partner with a vendor, but I want to make sure that this vendor is going to help me grow my business and not make me fight on a daily basis on the support side, try to retain my customer, etc. So we have a 90+% customer renewal rate. So this is a proof that the solution is very reliable, that you will be able, by choosing Proofpoint, to just focus on acquiring new business and growing your business. Important to mention. The next slide is going to be for Paul, and he's going to present you what we call the funnel slide and our detection stack. Floor's yours, Paul.
Thank you, Julien. Is it okay if I just carry on using your slide deck rather than reshare the screen? Okay. So there's been a lot of improvements to the back end of what we do with Essentials. I think for those of you in the know that have been using Essentials for quite some time, you'll know that we see around about 20 to 25% of the world's business email traffic every single day. There are only 2 vendors out there that see more than that, but what we do with this is unique. You know, we're looking at this purely from a threat hunting perspective. Now, some of you will be aware that we also have, you know, products that range to the enterprise as well. So we serve some of the largest organizations on the planet with hundreds of thousands of users. And obviously, the kinds of solutions we sell there are a little bit more bespoke. But some of those technologies will make their way across to Essentials, you know, as and when. And this is one of those. You know, the machine learning, the intelligence-driven detection that we have in the enterprise is now making its presence felt within Essentials as well. So we'll see that, you know, not only are we looking at stuff that based upon, you know, reputation, as you would expect, and based upon file reputation, MD5 hashes, those kinds of things, but we're looking for behavioral and content signatures inside emails and attachments as well. And what we do with that, you know, from a machine learning perspective, you know, we're looking at sharing this intelligence pretty much as in real time as we possibly can. And, you know, we're expanding that out to, you know, again, as we see there, URL content signatures, predictive URL defense, and, you know, we'll expect that to progress as we go on. Next slide, please. So what underpins this? What's the name of the technology? It's Supernova. And this gives us a lot of different things from email warning tags and also from ways of recognizing business email compromise. Now, for those of you that have dealt with customers that have experienced this in the past, the technological challenges of actually discovering business email compromise are quite difficult because there's no real payload that's actually involved inside the email. So there are lots of other things that you need to have a look at before you can identify it as business email compromise. We need to look not only at the header analysis in there, but the relationship of the sender and the recipient. Is this a new sender, for example, that's inserted themselves in a thread? Therefore, you know, we'll score it accordingly. We'll look at the reputation of the domain of the sender, again, and then we'll look at the content and anything else that's in there as well. Inspecting things like keywords, looking for, you know, certain phrases, asking for payment and those kinds of things. So this gives us a massive improvement in terms of our business email compromise detection. Next slide, please. So these are the kinds of things that we're looking for here. Sender reputation, I'm sure you're all aware of that. But yes, we're looking at the domain. We're looking at things like domain age. We're looking at the reputation, whether they're you know, marked in something like CloudMark Sender Intelligence, Proofpoint, and Dynamic Reputation, or other safe lists and block lists that may be out there on the internet. And then we're looking for these inconsistent replies or reply to pivots that, you know, may not be consistent with, you know, the chain of the email as it's been taking place in terms of, you know, somebody asking for payment, somebody asking for details of where that payment should go, and then somebody inserts themselves into the middle of that. So those inconsistent reply to pivots, again, will add to that score. And anything originating from either an untrustworthy locale, these could be IP ranges that are not consistent with you know, the person that's actually asking for payment and the person that is providing the bill, but you know, could be from the usual suspects such as you know, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, that kind of thing. Again, those kinds of things would add to that score again, and you know, that would be flagged out within our BEC defense within the Supernova framework. Other things that we look at in the content of the email, you can see things like bank account details, payment details, sort codes, those kinds of things. Again, you know, would be you'll be taken into consideration as to whether or not the email should be flagged or not. Next slide, please. So this is currently what Supernova is going to do for us in the background. And again, as I mentioned, we'll see this in action when it comes to email warning tags. We'll be able to see what these look like. We'll be able to see how it's presented to an end user as, say, for example, fraud, suspicious geo IP, and then there will be other things like the likes of which I've just mentioned there, marking an email as suspicious because of the other characteristics that we've had a look at. That'll be arriving probably just past the summer. It'll be Q3 2023 this year, but there are so many more things that we can do with the Supernova backend that we're not, we haven't had time just to implement for the Plus packages right now, but they will make their way as and when we progress throughout 2023. Next slide, please. Okay, so the next one is predictive URL defense. And this is going to give us an extension to the capability that we already have whenever it comes to looking at URLs. Again, how do we actually handle these? What are we actually looking for? Sandboxing of URLs, again, is something that, I think we've wanted in Essentials for quite some time. And, again, now we've pretty much got this. So this is based on a lot of things. Sender behavior, obviously, we're looking at the reputation of the URL. And then we're looking at the URIs as well. So these are the uniform resource identifiers, as opposed to URLs, the uniform resource locators, which are the web addresses. But we're looking at things that relate to certain things, certain objects that we have inside our email. Next slide, please. So as soon as that URL is detected in the email traffic, then what we're looking at is, we're going to start sandboxing, predictive analyzing of the actual URL itself. Within the sandbox framework, we make sure that stuff doesn't execute locally on the user's device. We're going to look at the things that we mentioned earlier. So again, we still look at the things such as reputation. We look at domain age. We also look at what this is actually opening up when it comes to a URL, for example. If it's risky content, if it's been spotted by anything else or any other organization that we have in the back end. Again, as I mentioned, 20 to 25% of the world's business email traffic going through our systems every single day. And again, that shared intelligence is going to be crucial. But this particular feature comes from our TAP, and TAP is targeted attack protection. And again, this is one of the subset of technologies that we've got within that TAP framework to identify and protect those users that are most heavily targeted. And typically, they're going to be users that either deal with the outside world for all sorts of different reasons, usually billing, and protecting them from making payments to fraudulent entities, those kinds of things. That's what we're aiming to do here. We're aiming to make sure that those URLs that they open aren't executed locally, they don't execute malicious code, but also at the same time making sure that if they are quite suspicious, then we're on top of that as well. Next slide, please. I think it's time for the demo now, don't you? Okay, Julien, I'm just going to share my screen. So just if you could unshare yours. And then just give me the thumbs up when you can see that.
That's good.
Excellent, thank you. I'm just going to quit my video so nothing gets in the way, and let me see. There we go. So this is where the new features are switched on. By default, when you, if you're an existing customer, they won't be switched on. So again, it's important just to go to your account in here, go to features and enable these. Say, for example, down here, email warning tags, and we have the one-click removal inside there as well. So the email warning tags will show up here under email tagging. Great place for it. And you can see this is a little bit more than the external sender that I think we had up until now. And as I mentioned before, we will be looking at extending these tags out, as and when we can fit them into the email gateway packages. And suspicious, I think, is one of those that's going to be arriving in Q3 2023. But right now, this is what we have currently. So we have these informational tags. This is going to alert us to the fact that somebody is an external sender. Please don't underestimate this, because this is a very, very useful weapon in the fight against business email compromise. Someone pretending to be an internal user, to pretend to be our CFO, or pretending to be someone in finance, to someone that already works inside the organization, but being flagged as an external sender, again, should get their spider senses tingling, and they should be contacting support, if one of those banners actually appears inside their email. So this is what the external sender one looks like. And you can see that there are other warning tags in here for higher risk categories in here. DMARC, whenever a domain fails DMARC, what we don't want to do is educate the user as to what DMARC is. That's never going to work. But what we can do is that we can alert them to the fact that DMARC is largely associated with impersonations. So those potential senders, the identity can't be verified for some reason. The sender domain is actually telling us that we should be taking a look at the DMARC record. We should be respecting that. And if it is someone that's actually using that domain or pretending to use that domain, then that we should take this. We should take this a bit more seriously and exercise a bit of caution. So knowing what this is, potential fraud, potential impersonation, rather than explaining what DMARC is, again, that simplification. Notice how the banner color has changed. And then if the user wants to, they can click on Learn More here as well. We also have the additional text field in there, which provides a mechanism for you to supply an email or a phone number that they should phone if they're not sure. Newly registered domain is, again, another useful one. I think for most security practitioners, anything that's newly registered, it usually gets again, the spider sense is tingling, because it's usually largely associated with a new form of attack, and an established organization doesn't have newly registered domain. They've been around for years. But certainly, if I do see one of these, then I would want to know about it. And again, that can be a domain that's set up with the sole purpose of either sending spam, malware, or any other kind of malicious campaign. So alerting the user to that, again, with this amber banner is a useful thing to do, as is high-risk GeoIP. So all of these will appear on the user's emails. Again, if you have email gateway set outbound, it will strip these messages as well if you're responding back to your potential customer or business partner. So it will take these out if you're using essentials on the outbound as well. Okay. Let's move on to retract from mailbox. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up my email client. And okay, so hopefully when we search, we should see that message from FitFlop. You can see I can see my quarantine mails, stuff that will actually appear in my digest. This one's made its way through, but if for whatever reason I decide that maybe this is something that I don't want to have in my users' inboxes, again, I've got the option to retract from mailbox here. So this gives me a manual way to extract this from pretty much everybody's mailbox in one go, should I feel the need to. This will be automated at some time in the future as well, because again, this is one of those features that's made its way from the enterprise side of the house. This is a great way of remediating, post sending. And again, if I click on apply, keep your eye on the FitFlop one down here, and that should disappear pretty much almost instantly. Okay. There we go, and it's gone. Now notice that it hasn't been removed from the logs, obviously. We want to keep it around there because sometimes we do make mistakes. And again, we have the mechanism here to restore this back to the mailbox. And if I click on apply, this is not going to be as instant as it was to retract from the mailbox. And again, the reason for that is that we are inspecting this. We are looking at the URLs, as we mentioned before. We're looking at any potential attachments that are in there as well. And then we will push that back into the user's inbox. So the retraction is going to be pretty much instantaneous. That's going to happen pretty much straight away. I can get an email or multiple emails from many users' inboxes in one go using this mechanism here. And again, if I've made a mistake for one or two emails, then I can push that back in, but obviously not bypassing the kinds of defenses that we have put in place for that. So that's those two new features. Email warning tags and retract from mailbox. What I'm going to do now is hand it back over to Julien.
Yes, sure. Thanks for the demo. Very efficient. These are the great new features that we are bringing to the solution. And here is the last slide for you, Paul, to have a summary of those new features that you just demoed.
Thank you. So these are the things that we've had a look at. These are what's made their way into the Plus packages as we see today. There is more to come, as I mentioned. And again, we will have a follow-up webinar probably within 3 to 6 months, I'm sure. And yeah, I think the key thing for me is what's actually happening in the background, what you couldn't see, but what underpins a lot of this other stuff. And this is the Supernova. The Supernova technology that underpins not only our BEC defense, but the email warning tags and the predictive URL defense that we see inside here. That is, it's immeasurable, how much value this is adding to the platform. And the fact that it's trusted by our largest enterprise customers, again, should give you a little bit more comfort and give you, the ammunition that you need to sell this over and above, other competitive solutions that are out there to your customer base. So advanced BEC defense and powered by Supernova, business email compromise is definitely, I would say, probably one of the biggest threats that are out there in terms of, in terms of financial loss. It cannot be underestimated. And, we definitely need something that will take care of that. And again, Supernova definitely ticks that box. And what we get from that is the classification engine that's built into Supernova, and that fits nicely into these email warning tags. We've seen how we can spot external senders. We can see, potentially fraudulent, impersonating senders are identified by that. They can identify banners, where other technological controls, may not actually spot something that's gone awry because there's nothing technologically wrong with the email for us to have a look at, but there may be other things that can trigger suspicion, things like DMARC failures, things like high-risk GeoIPs, those kinds of things, again, provide us with, another string to the bow, if you like, with essentials, and allow you to flag this up to users so they can exercise a little bit more caution when it comes to receiving these kinds of emails. And again, we're not finished there. We're certainly not done, not by a long stretch, and we will be adding to this over time. The suspicious classification, again, that will be added in Q3 of this year. And again, we've seen the one-click message pool, which is, it's something that our largest enterprise customers enjoy today. And this gives us the ability to remove a delivered message that may not have been malicious when it was first scanned, but that the link may be latent, and then now it's activated. Now I can extract it from everybody's mailboxes before it affects too many of my users. So again, very, very simple to use, as we have seen. And then lastly here, the predictive URL defense, again, identifying those malicious URLs, having that improved detection, been able to modify these URI, uniform resource identifier block lists on a real-time basis. And again, just improving the efficacy of the sandboxing capability that we already have that does such a great job at looking for attachments. And again, by just extending that further, taking some of those targeted attack protection features that we have inside our enterprise product, moving those to essentials, again, allows us to do this as well.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot for your time, Paul. Thanks for all those explanations. Great innovation that we are bringing to the solution. And this will have an impact on the licensing phase. And I will take the next slide. Thanks again, Paul. So, speaking about changing the licensing, it's changing, but not that much, you will see. So we have some changes on the packaging. This you might be familiar for those of you who are already doing business with Proofpoint Essentials. You might be familiar with those packages. So the bigger one being a legacy one, not for resale, but to maintain the one that you already had on beginner. Then you have the business, the advanced, the professional, and you see more and more feature when you go to the right of your screen. So with those new features, we introduce what we call the plus packages. What does that mean? It means that we've had some feedback from our partners, from MSPs, saying, this is great, we have a great solution, it's very efficient, but I want to bring more value to my customers. I want to make more money out of this value. And so it's a reason why we introduced those plus packages. So while we introducing new innovation, it was important for us to make sure that we were maintaining the level of pricing that we already had with the business, the advanced, and the professional. So this is the reason why we are not just adding innovation and increasing the price. We are creating new SKUs. So this way, if a customer you want to maintain on business or on advanced, on professional, because they are satisfied with the solution, the value, the pricing, it's totally fair and fine. And you will have the opportunity to have a value discussion with the others to let them know what are the benefits of the predictive URL defense and one-click message pool if you go to Business Plus. Or if you go from Advanced to Advanced Plus, you have also on top the advanced BEC detection with Supernova that Paul just demoed, and email warning tags. And if you want to go from professional to professional plus, it's going to be the same. So those 4 innovations will come to you. And you can see in the last line, the bottom of this slide, you will see that we have indicated here the MSRPs. So MSRP, meaning public price, end customer price, call it whatever you want. So these prices are in GBP and USD2, sorry, USD2 being the region for Africa with the USD currency. So you will find everything here. I would encourage you, when you will receive this presentation, to bookmark this slide, because it's a very efficient and clear way to understand what's in each version, each package of the Proofpoint Essential email security solution, and what are the innovation that we are bringing, and as well as the prices. So a very important slide to always have with you. A little bit of FAQ I wanted to share with you, because you might have some questions, and these are the common questions that we got from our partners. So what will the new packages cost? So we show the MSRP just before. If you want to understand what is going to be your buying price, then please contact your partner manager at Grove. And this way you will be able to understand what's going to be your buy price. Will the existing packages continue to be available for purchase? The answer is yes, as I was mentioning, bringing innovation, but maintaining a price point that you were used to. So we are remaining with the business, advanced, and professional. Can a customer upgrade to a new package after the launch? Yes, absolutely. You have someone already on business, you want to go to Business Plus or Advanced Plus or Professional Plus? No problem. can the new packages be trialed? So if you remember, for those of you who are already doing business with us, so when you will create an account, or when you created an account at Grove, your channel account, you received 50 free not for resale licenses. So those licenses give you the opportunity to protect your own domain and also to do some demos. So this will be available for you as well. You have the opportunity to upgrade your NFR from business to business plus, from advanced to advanced plus. Actually, it's free of charge. So I really encourage you to go to the advanced plus or the professional plus should you want to use the archiving solution. But for the end customer, we have this 30-day trial available for each and any end customer should you want to activate it. So the new packages will have the same option of the 30-day trial. Are new packages available for NFR? I just answered to that. The answer is yes. When will updated marketing assets be available? So we will see at the very last slide of this presentation, on the resources slide, where you will need to go to get access to those marketing assets. And yes, they are updated. Right now it's in English, and we are waiting for German, French, Italian, Spanish as well to come in the next months. Will new packages be available via API? Yes, again, API will support the new packages. So should you have other questions, let's take that at the end of this session. Or if you prefer, you can directly check with your partner manager at Grove, and we'll make sure to provide you with the answer. All right, so this is on the email security side. The second part of this presentation is what we call PISA, also known as Proofpoint Essential Security Awareness. What is Proofpoint Essential Security Awareness? So think about it like it's a 2 steps to have education of your customers' users. So how do you do this? So 2 steps, as I said. The first one is threat simulation phishing. The second one is training. So this is exactly what Essential Security will provide you with. So an opportunity to focus on the people, to educate what's the last line of defense or the first line of defense, depending on the, whether you want to put it positively or not. And so it's your people, because we saw that the majority, 90+% of the threats are activated by a human error. Someone clicking on the link. So you definitely want to make sure that your customers are protected against that. And then you have the security awareness. So this security awareness solution is fully integrated within the Proofpoint Essential portfolio. And so it's a reason why I will demo this for you. Just to let you know one thing before is that having both email security and security awareness will provide you with a lot of benefits. So apart from having access to the 2 solutions from the same console, the licensing and the provisioning management is going to be enhanced as well, because you will inherit the users that you have on the email security in the security awareness. You can have the same thing with the group management. And also something very important, when you do security awareness, when you do a threat simulation, you definitely want to send a simulation of a phishing email to someone, and you don't want your email security solution to block that simulation. So you need to whitelist the IPs of the email that you are sending into this simulation threat. So it's a reason why using both solutions, email security from Proofpoint Essentials and security awareness, will do an automatic whitelisting of the IP. So you don't need to take care about that. It's all covered. So these are the main benefits of using the same solution. And the last thing I wanted to mention, and it might be important to understand when you are growing your business, when you are speaking with a new customer, sometimes getting out of the blue to them saying, hey, I'm going to explain you why you need to change your email security solution, why this one is the best solution and you should consider. Sometimes it's a bit tricky to do this. And we realized with our partners that actually there's a much better way, an efficient way to acquire new customers with a trusted advisor position. And this is exactly with Proofpoint essential security awareness. Why? Because you will come to them and you say, hey, Mr. Customer, do you want to understand what is your security posture? Do you want to understand how vulnerable you are to emails coming your way? So I will help you understand this. We do an audit with a first wave of threat simulation, and then we will have just an assessment together and understand how vulnerable you are, how I can help you educate your users, and how I can help you do this the long run way. So this way, you come with a trusted advisor position, you introduce managed services, and after that, it's another opportunity, a foot in the door, let's say, to go to this same customer and say, hey, okay, we realize how vulnerable you are. And look at that. Now with the email security, this is how you can make sure to remediate the threat that you have. So I will jump into the demo here. You might be familiar with this one that Paul already showed you. So this is a dashboard for Proofpoint Essentials. So we have a lot of things on the email security side. So we have security setting, administration settings, threat reporting settings. And we have the different solutions on top of email security that you can activate, archiving, the email continuity. And we have here the security awareness. So if I click on security awareness, you will see that I have this first screen saying, hey, it's the first time I use it. I want to understand how to set this up. Okay, click here, you will understand everything. Okay, it's the first time I've set it up and I want to understand how do I create phishing campaigns? What's the best solution to do this? Okay, I'm going to educate you on what's the best way to do this. Click here, you will understand. And if you want to make the most out of the reporting, click here and you will understand as well. All right, I know the solution, so I want to go into it. And you will see single sign-on. We don't have to enter any other credentials, and we are able to arrive here. So we have 4 main tabs: reports, where you will have top reports, like for example, last time I sent some simulation. What's the average score to avoid dangerous attachment, dangerous links, etc., etc. So it's a general overview of your security posture or vulnerability posture. And also what's important for you to understand is what are the users that are late in completing their security modules. So you have this. But the most important thing is this one to start with. So it's phishing. I told you, so it's 2 steps. It's phishing simulation and then it's training. Phishing simulation to start with, so you have an assessment of how vulnerable you are. So here you will understand all the different campaigns that you have launched. And this is exactly what you want to see within an organization. You see this red line going down, this trend. So this trend is a click rate, which is going down. So when you go to a customer and say, hey, Mr. Customer, look at that. We've run several campaigns and we were able to understand when we went from a 18% click rate to a 1% click rate. So this is a lot of values that you can show and demonstrate to your customers. So This is a demo environment, I won't go into the details of those different archived campaigns, but what I want to show you is how simple it is to create a new campaign. So you click here, and then you have to decide which campaign you want to go through. Do I want to go with a drive-by phishing campaign, or do I want the users to enter data? Do I want to have attachments? Well, I'm not familiar. I don't know exactly what I have to do. Okay, click here, and you will have a knowledge base to understand what's the best way to start with when doing phishing simulation. Okay, let's say I will go with a classic drive-by phishing campaign. So here I will say, okay, Grove test. I give a name to my campaign, and after that, I have to select the language. So here we have 35 different languages that we are supporting. So Arabic, Bulgarian, Chinese, blah, 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 English, French, Indonesian, Norwegian, Spanish, a lot of different languages. So those languages will be important because not only will they give you opportunity to have localized assets on the phishing side, but also on the training side. So let's go with English. English Australian. You can decide to have something specific to Australia, or I'm familiar with the English US one. So here you will see, for example, when you have new templates coming, you can see that you have a green information because we are constantly updating those templates to make sure that they are up to date with the new threats that are coming to the end customers. You have different categories. You can say if I want something related to banking services, to corporate HR, Microsoft as well as its own category, very efficient one when it comes to SharePoint or OneDrive, Office 365, etc., etc. And after that, you have what we call average failure rate. So based on all the data that we gather, we are able to understand what are the most efficient simulation, the one that people will mostly fall into. Obviously, when you start your phishing simulation, you don't want to make it too difficult. So you want to go maybe with something average, 11, 20 is what we recommend. Okay, let's say that I'm not very sure what I want to do. So I will click here and I will have an overview. Okay, this one, it's very simple. I want something more. Yeah, I love this one. There is a logo of Office 365. We have we pay copyrights to use it, so it's all good. You're safe to use it. Okay, I will add this one. Okay, Microsoft is a good one. HR, I remember there is one called Code of Conduct. Wow, I love this one. 80%. Yeah, recently HR was alerted to a serious breach of the Code of Conduct. This one, perfect. So I will use this one. Okay, Code of Conduct. And maybe you want another one, blah, 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 blah. So the recommendation that we have together is to use 2 or 3 different templates. The reason why is because when you will send your phishing simulation, people will spread the word. And so they will say, hey, I just received this one. Do not open it because it's a phishing simulation. So you don't want this to happen. So you will select 2, 3 of them, and it's going to be randomly sent to your user list. Some will receive the Code of Conduct, other one will receive the Office 365, etc., etc. All right, so I have 2 of them here. E-commerce, maybe, yeah, e-commerce, blah, 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 Best Buy. Okay, I'll add the Best Buy. So what you want to do as well, maybe, is to edit. So I don't want to have Floyd notice. Maybe I want to have Denis Fry here, so I can save that. And So it's going to look more familiar because it's coming from someone from my organization. All right. After that, what do I have to do? I have to select the users I want to send this through. So here you can see if you have created some groups, you will see the groups. If you do not have groups, you can add all your users here. So I've added all my users. And after that, what you will do is to make sure that you will set this up for a specific timeline. So I want this to happen on the 24th. No, I want this to happen tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow. All right. And this is what they will see. So you can see here, it's in English, but it depends on your internet browser. So if your internet browser is configured with English, it's gonna appear like this. If it's French, it's gonna appear in French, etc., etc. All right, this I don't have to worry about, and we're done. I can create my campaign as simple as this. It's even funny, I think. Well, okay, I will delete this one. So you saw how quick it is, so you get it. And the second step I was mentioning is the training. So the phishing has to be randomly sent, but the training is something that you want to schedule over the time. So what we realize is that 2 hours per year is the maximum amount of time that an organization will dedicate to IT security, because you have a lot of other training like anti-bribery, the code of conduct, etc., etc. So 2 hours per year. So what it is 30 minutes per quarter. Otherwise, if you go above, people will be bored. They will skip it. They will not do it, etc. So this is our recommendation: 30 minutes maximum per quarter, and each quarter you come with a different topic to make sure that they are well educated. Okay, so these are the last campaigns. It's all red. It's a demo environment, as I told you. So we have not well done our homework with Paul. Okay, but the topic here is really to let you know how simple it is to create an assignment. So again, growth test, you give it a name. You say when you want this to start. Okay, I want this to start next week. Okay, and I want to have this completed. Okay, I'm gonna then give them 10 days. All right. Good. After that, what I will do here is go to my 51 modules, the most important modules to educate your users. So you can browse, or you can just type and say, hey, I want to have something about phishing, because we saw in the assessment that they are going for phishing a lot. So, okay, introduction to phishing is an important one. Okay, we are doing business a lot with Europe. So I want to understand what is GDPR. Okay, GDPR. And so I will do this. Of course, you can create training assignments for a particular group of users. It could be a group of users, the finance users, it could be the sales users, it could be HR, etc. So you can decide to go with different topics that you have here, like, for example, HIPAA or PII. Where is it? Yeah, PIF, and that's personally identified information that you want to select. Well, okay, I'm good with those ones. I can have, if I'm not sure, I can go and click and have a quick overview. Yeah. What's important in a training, you have to make something a bit entertaining. So it has to be like a cartoon, for example. You have to click here and there. It's not just I have to click on the same arrow each time. And sometimes also you don't want them to click on the next button. I cannot click. Okay, I have to flip each of them and make sure that they will go through the content. So, well, this is how you keep people focused on this. You can decide which group or users you want. I will have all of them. Brilliant. And after that, I submit, and we're good to go. So again, super easy to set up, and I hope that you appreciated it as well. All good. So what I will do now, I will go back to this here main dashboard that we have on the Proofpoint Essential one. You remember I told you that the last thing I wanted to show you was resources. So if you're new to Proofpoint Essentials and you want to understand more about the solution, you want to understand more how to support it, you want to understand more what's the technology behind, how to sell it, etc., etc. Here is the magic key. So click on this question mark here, and you will get access to Help or Partner Central. I will focus on Partner Central. Help is any kind of help. You type your question and you will get a knowledge base. But on the Partner Central side, look at that. I'm a salesperson, sales enablement, great. I will get access to data sheets, to marketing collaterals, launch kits, branding, battle card. So a lot of topic to be able to raise my game. All right. On the technical side, here, I'm a technical person. I want to master the solution. So here, I will have recordings. I will have a lot of videos, and I will have also access to a level 1 training to understand how to support this solution. I have to admit, it's not a very complicated solution. We don't have a lot of support to handle, and we don't have even a lot of support because the Grove is doing a great job on the support side. But should you want to understand exactly how it's working, this piece of thing is going to help you a lot. So that being said, let me go back to this one, this presentation. So resources, we just spoke about that. Videos, data sheets, digital marketing campaigns, things like this, technical success guide. So you have everything to be a top Proofpoint Essential seller. So if you are not already, what I really encourage you to do is to ask to your Growth Partner Manager to open a Proofpoint Essential account for you. This way, you will have access to 2 things. The first one is 50 not for resale licenses to protect your business, to test the solution, and to demo. And after that, please be confident in selling it to your customers. It goes with a 30-day trial. So if it happens that they are not happy, some might not, it doesn't happen a lot, but you have the opportunity, or they have the opportunity to get back with the 30-day trial option. So this is what I wanted to share with you. So we spoke about the new feature on the email security. We spoke about PISA and how efficient it is to pivot the discussion with your customers, to change your attitude and come with a trusted advisor position, and to get access to new managed services opportunity. So this is what we wanted to discuss with you. Should you have additional questions, all your channel account manager or your partner manager at Grove are more than well-trained on the solution to be able to answer to each and any of your questions. So do not hesitate. And it's been a pleasure to be here with you, and hope to have a lot of joint success together. Denis, floor's yours for the last word.
No, Julien, thank you very much for that. Right, for you and Paul, who's unfortunately just had to drop off, got into obviously had to get into another session. Busy man. But again, Julien, thanks very much for summing that up. I'm sure everyone got real good value out of that. I mean, for me, the key highlight is, I mean, just the way that awareness training for me specifically is picking up in the industry. I think it was really good that we found time to touch on that. I mean, I see massive growth within our partner base already that's been adopted, and it is something that's evolved over the 2 years that I've seen it from start to where it is now. And it's something that keeps on becoming more and more relevant in the marketplace. So again, I think on that note, thanks very much, Julien. We'll reach out to everyone who was on the session. I know there was a couple of questions on the panel, and we'll make sure that we get that answered and sent out as answers into the wider audience. So again, thanks everyone. We'll say goodbye from there, and we'll touch base soon again.
Thanks everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.